Is Bleeding Blake?
Bleeding Blake. That's my new band. Bleeding Blake.
Who's Blake? Is Bleeding? Maybe you should ask this.
Okay, I got you.
How do you know if you have air in your brake lines?
Your brakes don't work.
Check engine light comes on?
Boom.
Question?
Boom. It sounded.
Question mark?
Sorry, bud.
Well,
They ain't peppin'.
So if you have air in your brake system or your brake lines,
You're just gonna lose pedal feel.
your brake pedal erratically will feel spongy.
I want to call a friend. Can I call a friend?
Phone a friend. Phone a friend.
I get 3 lifelines,
Click,
bro.
click,
Let's
click,
figure
click,
this
click,
out.
click, click.
It'll feel like it hit a open spot.
I'd like to call in Mike Hidalgo, who is a resident expert in brake lines.
Boom.
If you have the slightest thought that you have air in your brake lines or even like a high water content, you should probably just do a brake flush.
When you go to push the pedal, if it feels spongy, that's a telltale sign that there's air in your brake lines.
If it feels that way, you have air in your lines.
What is the proper way to bleed brakes?
I think you take the snips and you just cut it
Don't bleed in the wrong direction.
and then zip tie it.
Some manufacturers go from the farthest point away from the master to the closest,
That's what I would do.
and you have that random Volvo where you're going in the other direction and you're just chasing your tail because you're not going the right way. Don't do that. Is bleeding the brakes hard when doing it alone? No, it's not.
If you don't have a one-man bleeder, yeah, it could be a little challenging.
And there's definitely tricks to do if you're on your own and you don't have special tools.
One-man bleeding is super easy.
Without that tool on your own, you have no way to apply pressure. At least no way that I know of.
You can pressure bleed, you can vacuum bleed, you can use a speed bleeder.
If you don't have the tool, we offer it here at FCP Euro. It's by Motive, so if you don't have it, purchase it. Make it a lot easier.
Just buy like a Motive power bleeder and a couple of catch bottles, and you could do it solo, and you could be your own hero. So that's what I recommend.
What is bedding brakes in, and is it always necessary?
Very open-ended question.
This is
feel like
because we're
'cause
gonna fight.
Bedding in your brakes, what you're trying to do
This
Because
is
we're gonna have,
It's
because
different.
I want you to say it wrong and then I will answer correctly.
is you're trying to transfer brake pad material to the brake rotor.
I'm not gonna answer the way I typically do.
No, go ahead, answer the truth.
Not always necessary. There are some brake pads that are pre-bedded in.
Just drive for 300 miles. Just do that. You'll be fine.
Everyone's got their own different process of bedding in.
Kyle is from the school of not bedding brakes and not applying lubricant to brake pads or any of the braking materials.
Your race pads and things like that, you're gonna probably want to bed in.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
For a generic street pad, many pads, they're already like pre-burnished, so you don't need to do that as much.
Personally, I do like a 10 mile per hour stop,
Moderate pressure stop at 20 miles an hour.
30, 40, 50.
Typically, I can smell the coating coming off the rotors.
Slam on the new rotors and new pads, get a cold one, and then just don't even bother.
Yo, I'm gonna get roasted. Roasted.
Why do some brake pads rattle, and why do they have to be glued?
First part of the question has validity.
Glued?
I don't know how I answer that question. I never heard of brake pads that have to be glued.
If you're gluing your brake pads,
Yeah.
start over.
I will answer that question because that's real.
Yeah, I'd never glued a brake pad in my life.
There are sometimes anti-rattle clips that need to be fastened.
There's actually no type of glue for them.
Brake pad rattle definitely won't be installed with glue.
Make sure that everything is lubricated to avoid rattling.
And that's why you're supposed to lubricate the back of the pads and all the contact areas of the brake pad.
To glue my pads or not to glue my pads, that's never been a question I've heard before.
What does brake bias mean, and can I mess out with BBK?
Brake bias is your ratio of front to rear braking.
To double the BBK or Burger King? I'm kidding.
It means you're some sort of snob that believes that some brake is gonna perform at a higher quality than another brake.
Pretty much every single car is gonna have much more braking force in the front and less braking force in the rear for stability.
Most systems are like a 70-30 split, 70 front, 30 rear.
Generally speaking, if you buy the correct big brake kit for the application, it's gonna be totally fine.
But if you're granny shifting, not double clutching like you should, then that means you're using up your brakes.
Too furious!
What's up, YouTube? Do you have questions about your car that you're a little embarrassed to ask? Leave them in the comments below, and we'll address them in a future episode. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. I'm a Muppet here.